he's managed to hold on and they get
He missed the complete. That is crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
They hail from around the globe, and though separated by oceans, they gather in the virtual world for reasons as varied as their locales. Whether it's a defending champion looking to retain his title, a new and eager hopeful striving for recognition, or a legend prepared to recapture past glory, in the end, the one goal they all share is to win. But when naming a victor, only one driver's name can be etched into the record books. You're watching the Heusinkveld MX-5 World Tour.
Season 13 was unlucky for some. This season, though, can be marked as the road to redemption. All or nothing in the easiest car to drive, but yet the hardest machine to master. It is season 14 from the scenic Spa-Francorchamps as the Heusinkveld MX-5 World Tour begins with the Asprey Motorsport Spa Classic. We're streaming live and bringing you all of the coverage here on the global SimRacing channel. Good morning, afternoon and evening, all race fans across the globe, and welcome to the Tidal Influence Countdown to Green. Over the pre-show coverage, we here at GSRC will be delivering to you lucky race fans all the storylines, all the stats and all the facts you'll need to fully appreciate the Asprey Motorsport Spa Classic that will immediately follow. But with a shame to see Richard Losber depart from the booth for this season for some money for a seat in the racing action that we'll have today, #DoYouMind has turned up to fill his boots. I'm Jake Sperry, and joining me in the booth for the season will be the irreplaceable Bill Supzan. Joe Peak, our resident Beswick 2.0, will be playing director today, and as always, we'll be mastering the cameras provided by the majestic Dougie Beard. Dupe, the MX-5 World Tour has only been to Spa for the last 3 seasons. Sonny Kanchan took the inaugural victory in season 11, GSRC's own Amjad Yamin won in season 12, and last year Sergio Mora became the 3rd different winner. What will be, though, today, the big challenging sections of this circuit that will confuse the clusters out there?
Yeah, and before I get to that, we can't forget the series organizers Jeroen Ursum's historic first ever top 10 finish in season 11. It was indeed one of those where were you when moments. So let's talk about Spa, but before we do that, we got to remember that everything here on the Countdown to Green is brought to you by Tidal Influence. They're an ecological consulting firm based in Long Beach, California that restores wetlands, saves and studies endangered species, and educates children about our environment. For more information, go to TidalInfluence.com. Now, the track. Folks, this place was designed in 1920, originally laid out over 15 kilometers on public roads. It quickly gained a reputation for being very dangerous. Now, surrendering to the modern safety concerns, we are left with the much shorter current layout that has been around since 2007. You know, unlike a lot of other racetracks that had to sacrifice their soul for the sake of safety, somehow Spa's been able to conform to the modern age and yet still maintain its Spa-ness, I like to call it. There's no such thing as a perfect racetrack, but for me, these 19 turns over these 7 kilometers of rise and falls about as close as you can get. Even the curse of the chicane that's plagued so many other racetracks, not so bad here at Spa, as they have that strategically placed bus stop, which gives some really exciting passing opportunities, both coming in and leaving. Now, no matter your choice of weapons, whether it be the low-powered MX-5 here, or maybe the fastest cars on the planet, Spa will not disappoint. But I've given you the overview. What do you say that if you want some specifics, let's go to Joe Peak to talk us around Spa.
All right, we've got Amjad Yamin in the GSRC MX-5, so let's do a lap around Spa. Coming up to La Source, you've got a great place for a pass, but be wary on the first lap. This hairpin is notorious for chaos, so be careful not to throw away your race by getting tangled up in the first corner. Another important thing to consider is your exit of La Source. You're now plunging down the old pit straight towards Eau Rouge, and you should be on the power for quite a while. Get the car lined up to the right, and do your best to minimize your steering input into this incredible uphill climb. Just make sure you don't get a cut course at Rodillon, or you'll be losing positions hand over fist down the Kemmel Straight. This is where things will get exciting though. The draft in these MX-5s mean you will see two different types of drivers. One will be looking to use the slipstream to overtake all day long, and the other will be lifting and fuel saving to outthink their opponent in the race. However, if you can't make the pass on the straight, the braking in a Lecumbe offers a chance to seal the deal. Keep your head on a swivel though, because your competitor can fight back from the outside on the switchback to the left. From there, you'll swing the car through Malmedy at the highest part of the circuit. Now we fall back downhill into Rivage, and this 180-degree corner can sometimes offer a chance for a sneaky overtake. It's also got some awkward camber, making it easy to understeer. Square off the exit and switch sides quick to get the car set up for the left-hander. This is a corner that invites confidence, maybe a bit too much confidence. Try not to overshoot the exit to avoid a 1X. Now, if you look up, you can see the pit complex way down in the valley, but we won't be there anytime soon. Hold right and then gently coax the car into Pouan. Lose the rear and anyone behind you will be coming in blind and can likely plow into you. Lose the front, and thankfully, you've got a parking lot of paved runoff on the exit to save you. Still, it's important to carry your speed because as we bring the car to the left, you're going to have some decent braking into Fagnes. This isn't that interesting of a chicane, but getting the right line is still important to your lap time. The exit, though, is not a big deal because it's a very short acceleration zone to Stavelot. After all the drop in elevation, you finally reach the lowest point of the circuit. Get the car steady and lined up so that you won't need a lift into Curve of Paul Frere. You'll need every ounce of momentum once again down the backstretch. The little bends throughout means minimizing your inputs will help your speed. Just like the Kemmel Straight, draft battles are likely to take place on this stretch. It's just a little more awkward with the way the natural line weaves you across the track. You want to get single file by Blanchimont though. Even though it's flat out in the MX-5, it's still not worth trying to go side by side. After that comes the braking for the bus stop chicane. This is your last best chance to get an overtake in. Because of the high speeds, a lot of guys fall victim to overshooting it, so even if someone's later than you on the brakes, you can still get the spot back. There's one final spot where you can rack up a 1X, so get yourself a clean exit. Hopefully, you held it all together, and as we come back to the line, we finished a lap around Spa.
I'm Jed Yarman there inside the most prized possession here at GSRC, the GSRC MX-5, which has done so much for the likes of Turn 2 Motorsports. Today, having a little bit of a run about at Spa-Francorchamps, but Soup, this is the place in the countdown to green where we would usually talk about the championship races, but since this is the first race of the season, everyone starts on the same clean slate. They start with 0, nothing, or if you want to pun somewhere, miata. So for everyone who is brand new to the series, me included in that matter of fact, how did the last season of the World Tour end for the fabled individuals?
That's right, the clean slate, all those back markers tied for the lead right now. Enjoy it while it lasts, boys. Let's go ahead and talk about Errol Num. He's your champion. You know, after multiple champions over in the Absolute Beginners League Formula Neagle, the Roland Estonian comes to the MWT and proves he can win in fenders as well. He's back here today. His practice times were a little bit down, but that could just be from the draft misleading us on the times. How about Sonny Katchen? He was hoping to make it 3 crowns in a row, but bad luck, and Errol Num prevented the three-peat. Catch Me If You Catchin is here today as well. Patrick Fliss, let's take a second to talk about him. He's a legitimate threat for the championship last season. Now, in the virtual world of iRacing, Fliss is nearly indestructible, earning him the tag, the Slovene Machine. However, in the real world, Patrick is a little more vulnerable. A pretty serious injury from a motorcycle accident ended his championship run. Fliss is healed up, and he's back here making a challenge, looking to pick up his first crown. How about the California kid, Eric Garcia? Once a mid-packer, Garcia's 4th place finish in the standings was the best result in his 9 seasons. He's making his 85th career start this morning for the California kid in that Eagle Nest Tavern MX-5. Can't forget about Travis Swenke. Real-world commitments have Travis. That's his biggest obstacle. 5 no-shows was too much for him to overcome. Nicknamed Dory, though, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. If Travis can show up, he can be a threat to win. Of course, there's the Base 8 hammer, Tom Ratchey. He was happy with the 6th place finish. You know, he has a reputation for finding trouble, or for trouble finding him. That wasn't the case last season, proven by his 5th place finish in the Ironman. And finally, let's talk about 2 guys, David Hampsons, who's not here today, and then Brian Holmes. 2 more drivers in season 14. Those 2 Englishmen could be very good. Now, Brian Holmes is mislabeled as an amateur driver. He's actually a pro driver. Hampson isn't here today. So, Jake, that's just a run-through of a few of the drivers. We've got some rookies that could also, we'll get to learn as the season goes on.
Yes, we certainly will, and of course split between 2 categories, Pro and Am. We would show you an Am category graphic, except it is exactly the same as your Pro category graphic. They are all exactly the same. They're all looking to get their laps in right now at the start of qualifying. The first driver expected to come across the line will be Steve Hefford, who is a Pro driver. But for those who are brand new to the series, this has been a long-standing series of 13 seasons, Soup. So why don't you take us through the past champions and the Wall of Fame?
Yeah, you know, the MWT has a long history of Wall of Famers filling up, and there they are filling up the top 4 spots. Let's go ahead. We start up there with Jan Koemans. They call him the Belgium Ace, the Speedmaster, or the GOAT, as in greatest of all time. He has 3 championships, and of course that is Jan Koemans. Championships in season 6 and 9 for Richard Eklund. The man looking to join Koemans as a 3-time champ is Sonny Ketchen from Australia. How about the Wall of Famer, Arcadius Terresis? He was the series first champion, coining the phrase, "This is not a game." Then, of course, there's Sam McAleer, Yao Freitas, Evan Maillard, GSRC's own Amjad Yaman, and, of course, Errol Num, who completes the graphic. He picked up the championship last time. And with champions hailing from Belgium, New York, Australia, Poland, Scotland, Portugal, France, Texas, and Estonia, this is truly the MX-5 World Tour.
It certainly is, Soup. A truly global affair will be impossible to miss with the frankly amazing action that has been conjured up again and again. But Soup, it is all well and good reminiscing about seasons past with your years of experience, but my youthful exuberance wants to understand the intricacies of this season. What are the rules of the game, and how do you play this game?
Okay, for veterans this will be old hat, but for newcomers like you, pay attention here and Soup will preach the gospel. The schedule. We have round 1 at 12. Now, this is important. There's no drop races, so anything that happens on the track counts. However, there is something called, that's unique to the MWT, called no-show compensation that you can use 3 times. If a driver misses a race, he or she is compensated with points equal to their percentage of their average finish. It's a bit complicated, but basically, if you miss a race, you're not going to get crushed. Setups. It's open. With reduced fuel, it's going to force everybody to make 1 stop every race this season. Fast repairs, the MWT's always been a no fast repair series. You break it, you bought it, and you can take that to the bank. Incident cap. There is no incident cap. However, the series does chart incidents, and if a driver's ranking on the mile per incident, that has a value at the end of the race and end of the season. You get some points for that. Nobody really cares much about bonus points until you get to the very end, and all of a sudden you find you're a couple points behind the guy for the championship. You say, oh man, if I only could have made that 1 corner back at Spa. So anything that happens today will affect the championship.
It certainly will, and it's all about the weather conditions as well today, because we've got clear skies at 23 degrees, 26 out on the track, so it's a relatively average day here for the circuit. Drivers will be very used to and accustomed to the way that things are going to be working. Winds coming in from the southeast, not too heavy, so that won't be really moving these MX-5s about too much in terms of the racing action, but there are quite a few key points that we need to talk about here. Surviving the first few laps has certainly got to be one of them here, Soup. Qualifying right now, the final few sections here, final 2 minutes, we are in underneath, and currently Robert Hartley holds pole position by 0.3 of a second.
Yeah, with about 2 minutes left here in qualifying, let me take a second to go through some of the points, and we'll turn it over to Jake, and we can run down the starting grid. You know, we got lots of rookies, and there's a learning curve when you come here, so you got to be careful. I'm worried about getting around the first corner. The Hans Millowa Casino and Social Club has the over-under at 6.5 drivers, not on the lead lap by the time we finish lap number 5, so we'll see how that goes. There are some, corner number 1's going to be a problem. Watch out for, there's a very important section where you can pick up a penalty, a time penalty. That's the exit of the bus stop. I think they're going to be pretty good on that one. And then, of course, the long pit lane. We'll see how that works out. It's not as long as it could be here at Spa. We're using the one where we get to exit halfway around, just past the fast food ordering. But qualifying with about a minute left, I think it's about time that we start setting up to call the grid.
It is about time that we start looking to set that up. We've still got drivers, though, making that last gasp charge in the final minutes of this one. So before we do have the ability to go to the grid, it's about time that we look at this Heusinkveld starting grid and understand who Heusinkveld are. Heusinkveld, they certainly offer a broad array of products and services, including advanced vehicle simulation, software and hardware, and also sponsors on practically every major team in sim racing today. If you're looking for an edge in racing, get in touch today at heusinkveld.com. Just looking at one of the final drivers to get across the line, and that one is going to be Robert Hartley with about 20 seconds left to go. That should be about it, though, when they come to line. This is how the grid is going to look.
And we'll do 10 at a time here with Robert Hartley and Sonny Ketchen on the front row. Richard Worth, Tim Claeson's behind them. Errol Num and Daniel Hunt in 5th and 6th. Brian Holmes, Juros Jelenko, Noel Lundeberg, and Marcello Pajan round out your top 10. Jake?
You stole my thunder. Thank you very much. Travis Schwenke then just keeping swimming in 11th with Stelian Chepelevsky there in 12th position. Gene Fides there in 13th with Robert Weilinger there in 14th. 15th to GSRC's very own Richard Losper. Patrick Fliss alongside in 16th. Row 8, we'll see Eric Garcia and Drace Nice there next. Drace Nice, shall I say, next to each other. Stephen Van Opstal, though, is going to be in 19th, the first of the amateurs, and 20th is Baz Schlob.
Hidden Blackjack, it's the Base 8 Hammer. Oh, no, it's Nick Thiessen. Sorry, Tom Ratchey in the double duck spot. It's Alexander Larison in the 23rd position, ahead of Nicholas Galley, Eric Kuhlman, Scott Brazier, Dennis Garrison, Andy Goodison in the 28th position, Ludwig Sauer in 29th, rounding out the top 30, it's Steve Hetford. Jake?
It certainly is. Cesare Rizzo, 31st. Michael Wright, 32nd. And we'll hurry it on. Gianni Quintelier, 33rd. Then you got Jonathan Butel, Jerp Willemsen, Kips the Hairflick Steeman, Zachary Rubin, Derek Holland in 38th. Jerome Ursum and Lee Diemer make 40.
41st, Max Wright. At Sushi Maeda in 42nd position, Mark King. And then we have old Joe McDonald, Trip Smith, Jung Dunkirk back there in 46th position. Heaton Bake, Al Heaton in 47th. Billy Bob Wright, 48th, didn't put in a qualifying time. Neither did Lauren Murray. And rounding out the 50 cars setting a MWT record is Wayne Fielder.
Well, it just shows you how many people want to be part of the World Tour, and everyone is looking for that opportunity. Two-time champion on the front of the grid. Robert Hartley will be looking to prove his worth, with Richard Worth, ironically, just behind in position number 3. And what a brilliant grid it is. You look at some of the drivers, you look at how many are split by 1 second out on the field. It's only the top 7, but behind that, in that 1.1 category, 5 drivers split by less than 1/10 of the second. 2 minutes, though, certainly up. So we'll get those engine notes revving for you, and we'll get 16 laps here of racing underway very, very shortly. And let's get the green flags out, and let's get ourselves underway. The run to La Source, a very good start, though, from Robert Hartley as they make that run towards the La Source hairpin. Kanchin will sit into line. 2 wide there will go in the mid-pack. Then you got likes of Norman Hunt trying to go together. A little bit of contact. Everyone looking to try and file through very, very nicely for the time being. I believe everyone has got through nice and safely through the La Source corner. And that is exactly what everyone was hoping to see here at the front soup.
Unbelievable. All 50 cars were able to negotiate La Source. They are down the straight.
Oh, they certainly are. And now the run here from the corner of Radion here towards this long straight known as the Camel Straight. The prime overtaking opportunity. Look at this. 2 wide, maybe looking to go 3 wide behind. Kanchin now going for the race lead and will take the race lead. We're not going to get too excited just now, though, because we know that a pass now does not constitute a race victory, but any crash will certainly constitute a race failure towards the end. Chepelevsky side by side right now, further down the field with the driver of Marcello Pagnan of the Thrustmaster Movano outlet, and that's going to be position Pagnan as he makes his way through. And look at that now. They head to Rivage. They now head towards the next few corners, the likes of the corner without a name here, Sue. And this is the heritage that this circuit has built up year on year on year.
The entire field negotiates Lacombe and Malmedy as well as they now work through Lavage. This is going great.
It certainly is. Clayson's now running into issues. That's a slowdown for him, so he'll have to back it off, find his pace again. And for Clayson's, who qualified 4th on the grid, he will drop all the way back. Pagnan on a charge. He'll now get himself down the inside of Uros Zelenko now, who will need to hold the inside in towards the right-left of the Fania chicane. He will lose 1 position, maybe 2. 2 will not certainly be the answer at the moment, but out in front, Kanchin holding this advantage at the moment. Hartley in 2nd, keeping within the 1 second window. But it's this train here going back from Richard Worth that I'm keeping an eye out on here, Soup, because Worth, Nom, Holmes, Hunt, Pagnan, Jelenko, Chepelevsky and Lundberg all there, and that's always stacked back to the top 10, all with a shot at the podium.
Clayson lost 7 positions as he dropped all the way back to 11th from 4th. You look up there at front though, Ketchen and Hartley beginning to pull away. And have we lost Holmes?
Have
Nope.
we lost Brian Holmes?
Back.
No, we
He's
haven't.
Back.
He certainly is, so he'll look to try and keep himself going. A few technical difficulties we'll see, and now into this final chicane. The bus stop chicane, as it was known, has changed so many times over the years, but it hasn't had an itinerary change for the last 10 years. It's finally solved its identity crisis, but Sonny Kanchin, if you can, he is going to be at the front of the field then, doing a very good job. 0.4 of a second then, the gap between them as they cross the line for the very first time. And you can see already drivers looking to try and break the draft or try and get down the inside. Chepelevsky here goes down the inside of the driver of Zelenko, and Zelenko running so wide through that corner gets a better run. But here comes Noel Lundberg looking for an opportunity up towards the corner of Les Combes. Well, not Les Combes after that, but before that they have to negotiate Eau Rouge, and that's back into line. You don't ever want to go too wide up through the corner of Eau Rouge.
Gene Fittis, who was running 13th, has had a stop-and-go penalty to serve. He gets that done. He'll be back out, but he's going to be at the back of the field.
Yeah, he certainly is. One driver then who is further back than anybody else right now is Cesare Rizzo in the number 47 machine. He's the last driver to go through 48. All 48 who took to the start have got through the start, so that looks very, very good for certain drivers. But change at the front of the field, because now it's Robert Hartley who holds the advantage, the keys to the castle. Richard Worth up into 2nd, and just like that, and it happens here with the draft being so strong here at Spa-Francorchamps here, Soup, it means that Sonny Kanchin down to 3rd.
You can see the back of the train there is Marcelo Pajan. He's running in 7th position. He's got about a 1 second lead over Stelian Chepelevsky, who's trying to catch up. Chepelevsky trying to lose touch, starting to lose touch with the front pack.
Yeah, he certainly is. And almost contact there between the drivers of Travis Schwenke and Patrick Fliss, the 2 regulars that we see normally towards the front of the field. And this is testament to just how strong the field is this season, because drivers that you normally see fighting for the championship up at the front are now suddenly here, Sue, back fighting for top 10, top 15.
We're right on board with Dory right now. Travis Schwenke looking ahead at the Slovene machine, Patrick Fliss. These guys racing at 12th. You said it, Jake. These guys are top drivers, and here they are racing back in the pack. If we drop back a few positions, our top amateur is Boss Slob racing in 14th position, just a couple spots behind Schwenke right now. Remember, there are 2 championships here, the pro drivers and the amateur drivers. We have one that is mislabeled. We talked about it before. It's Brian Holmes. He's actually a pro driver, so don't be fooled by the A from his name. But Boss Slob in 14th position, the leading of all the amateurs right now.
Yes, and just behind him is Stephen Van Opstal in the 172, so he'll be looking to try and get back into play. Side by side in front, though, Noel Lundberg against Tim Claysons. Claysons then to the inside at Blanchemont makes that one look very easy, and the question of do they lift, no they don't in these MX-5s, and now Fleece look to go through, but the battle for the lead hotting up right now. Look at this train as they all snake through the final section of the circuit. Hartley holds the advantage. Worth, Kanchin, Nom, Holmes, Hunt, Pagnan, Chepelevsky also on the back of this one. It's like cycling racing right now here, Soup. You've got 2 major packs looking to break away.
If you look at the number plates, you'll see that Richard Worth has a yellow number plate. He is a rookie. He's a newcomer, certainly making a name for himself right now. Leading, maybe not as important as you might think in a normal race, because there is a stop to make. I almost wonder if some of these guys are happy not just to sit back there in 3rd, 4th, and 5th, save a little fuel, maybe have a shorter pit stop.
Exactly, it's a strategy game that we're looking at here today. You can win this race by trying to go off the front, but will your fuel manage if you get into that position at the front of the field though? Let's start the two wide battling again. Richard Worth then looking to try and prove that he's money as he goes past the driver of Robert Hartley. Not much he can do. Sonny Kanchin now looking to thread the needle here, makes it too wide then as they get on the brakes into Lake Coombe, looking for Malmedy here, the third part of the section, but look at that, holding the inside line, and now off the train is Kanchin, has the inside that he can hold here down to the inside, but Soup, you got to get on the train, you got to stay in the draft, and as such, he's now under pressure for second. Oh my word, there was almost contact behind. I believe that was Hunt and Pagnan almost coming together there in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, I don't think it's much of a train right now. It looks more like a pack. And we talked about Chevaleski falling off. He was racing back there in 8th. Well, he's caught back up. He's brought Brian Holmes with him. So now we have 8 cars up front.
Yes, we do, and I've seen 3 wide heading down in towards the corner of Rivage between Eric Coombe and Tom Rathjer and Steve Hefford as well. Hefford still going side by side with Tom Rathjer. This is going on for around P18, P19 out on circuit. Very important battle between them. Got the likes of Scott Brazier just behind, trying to make it too wide at Pouhon. Trying, but you're never going to quite make that succeed at the moment. But that's the thing, when drivers start to battle, it will open up and break these groups down a bit, and it will create a concertina effect here today, Soup, and that may allow drivers like Patrick Fleece back into this one, because Brian J. Holmes is only a couple of people there in play at the moment. So still, we look at the battling that is going on. Worth at the front, Kanchin though with a great opportunity.
Let's go ahead and put the camera back on 33rd position real quick. This is Billy Bob Wright. He's our amateur driver. He's our hard charger right now. He qualified in 48, didn't put in a qualifying time. He is up 11 spots in a little battle with Gene Fittis. Look at Fittis. Remember, Fittis had to make that stop and go penalty because he was on the IRT probation list. He served that penalty, now battling with Wright, trying to make his way through the field. So battling going on all the way through this 50-car field. Attrition, not a factor, as 48 cars are still on the lead lap.
Oh, I'll disagree with you there. Van Opstal's been involved in an incident involving Slob as well. So they've all been involved somewhere out on circuit. And that's a big, big incident because it took out both of your amateur category leaders right now. That's huge in terms of this race. And I'm sure 3-4 drivers all getting involved in that. So we'll keep an eye out on who has been involved in that major incident. But at the front of the field, Kanchin from Hartley. Nom, though, into position number 3, the reigning champion, looking to get back into play. But look how much time has been lost by Worth losing positions in Blanchemont. He's now down into 4th position. And look at that, side by side for the lead suit.
As just to follow up on the thing that you saw, it was Slob got into Thissens and also Van Opstal as well. So 3 of the top amateurs taken out.
3 of the top amateurs, and well, I believe we may have found the incident there just a little bit. We'll see if we get a replay in a little bit, but look at this little bit of contact there from position number 4. Richard Worth getting a love tap then, as there's contact though at the front of your field. Pagnan turned around, Chepalevsky has to stop it together. Bit of contact, Pagnan involved in both touches there, Soup, but he gets away with one very crucially, and now the pair of them are into the second pack.
So you look at that, Chepalevsky did a great job of straightening out Pajan. There's Marcello got a little bit sideways. Not sure how much damage Marcello is going to get to his front left as we ride on board with the rookie here, Stallion. And watch this, Chepalevsky gets right into him and then turns him straight. And then they both keep going.
Unbelievable to see that there. That's very good car control, and that comes from the background that Stelian Chepalevsky has here today, Soup, because he is most known for being a touring car driver on the iRacing service. The likes of the British sim racers, you could argue in some sense, have invaded that car control that they have proved year on year has come in handy very nicely for him.
So, with the departure of Boss Slob and his guys, that meets our top amateur. We can go back to 21st position. I believe it's Robert. Oh, we're looking at a replay here. We're going to look at this incident. Here it is.
Yeah, and here's the incident on screen. So all of them...
Slob and Thyssen get together, I believe. Is this what... Are we looking at the back marker one?
Yeah, we're looking at the one... Yeah, the one with the amateurs, so heading themselves up the hill, then through Eau Rouge, through Radion, and you hope that nobody is ever going to be slow, continue on that battle as we are now heading into lap 4 of the event. And they come together on the Kemmel Straight, and that is always going to be a nasty place for an incident to happen, especially when you got vehicles all across the track. So lucky that they all didn't come together with each other, so there is a sense of respite going on there. But at the front of the field, it's a train now of only 6. They have whittled themselves down to the fantastic 6 that they've got going on. But look at this, there's 3-4 trains going on. You got the likes of your race leader in your amateur class, Eric Koeman, here in the middle of the pack, and I believe we just had someone pull off at the side of the road. I'm wondering just to see who exactly that was, and that was Shepelevsky who's gone.
Yeah, I wonder, maybe he picked up some damage from the incident they had with Pajan. I thought he tapped him pretty well, but he had fallen off the train, and I guess he has called it a day.
Well, you don't want to be not finishing races, even if there's damage. You've got to get back down to pit road and do it as best you can. Look at this, though, for the race lead. 2 wide they're going to go. Are we going to go 3 wide? No, we're going to bump draft our way through. Worth giving Kanchin the push to give himself the advantage through. Now, I wondered whether Worth could have made that 3 wide heading down to Lake Coombe. He decided against it, but next lap, Soup, you would feel that the pit stop window opens on lap 6, trying to go 10 laps on the fuel. Maybe the lap after that.
Now, you got to wonder here, if you're a driver that's in this pack and you think you're one of the fastest and everyone's hanging on to your coattails, what you can do is come on in, lose them, and see if you can run some hot laps. The problem with that is you get thrown back in traffic and you have to negotiate some back markers. That 6-car train, though, right now, that includes rookie Richard Worth and also another rookie back there of Daniel the Fox Hunt, having a great run back there in 5th.
Yeah, he certainly is. Back to 15th, though, we are going to go. What a fantastic scrap this is. Tom Ratcher against the likes. Well, actually, it's Brazier against Eric Koeman. Koeman gets the advantage into the corner without a name. You've got to be careful, though, on the exit of the corner with no name, that you don't put all 4 tyres off. Time penalties will be accrued after the race results. So any time that you're jumping over it, the stewards will have an eagle eye, which is a very nice segue here right now here today, Soup, to another driver that is having a pretty decent run of all things, and that's Eric Garcia.
How about 18th position in the Eagle Nest Cavern? It's an Eagle Nest Cavern machine. Nice to work with Jake Sperry. He sets me up so nicely. Running back there in 18th, and one of our series sponsors. Good to see the Eagle Nest Cavern car back out there, well represented. Nice job, Eric.
Yeah, certainly doing a very good job indeed. I want to keep an eye out, though, on this second train. Starting to stagnate a little bit here. Drace Nice there at the front of that. Then you got Patrick Fleece, Pagnan against the likes of Schwenke here. Just keep swinging. Then Claessens, Lundberg, Lauritsen, all there in this train of 5 looking to go at it. And look at how they're all going to swarm. Claessens then will go hard to the outside. And in front of them, you're going to see the driver of what is going to be Patrick Fleece to the outside then at the chicane. And Soup.
Let's get a review. Let's go to Richard Worth. This is out of the bus stop. It just happened. It looks like he's okay, but he was in the front battle. Did he lose us? Was he leading at the time? He was running in 2nd. The car got loose out of the bus stop, and he just got a little bit of Robert Hartley.
And Hartley had nowhere to go there, down on that inside. He tried to go hard left, but that's not going to help. But look at what it's done for Sonny Kanchin. It's given him the breakaway that he's been waiting for all race long. 1.7 seconds when they last crossed the line, and that will surely increase, knowing the fact that they all had to check up and dance into 6s and 7s. Now it's a race to catch back up to Kanchin, and they can't do that without a little bit of help. Nom in 2nd position, Hunt 3rd, Hartley 4th, Holmes in 5th position. And can the Fox find a way through? Daniel Hunt with Eru Nom side by side. Look at them, not willing to share the draft at all. They are solely thinking about the podium and not the race win.
No, this is where these guys got to get smart and stop racing as they go too wide through Malmedy now. That's going to slow them down. They got to get this sorted out, get in line, and start doing some leapfrogging and try to run down Sonny. Catch me if you catch, and he's going to live up to his nickname right now as he is well out in front by 2.7 seconds.
Catch me if you can, Chin, or Kanchin if you can. It doesn't matter which way you say it. All it matters is he's out in front, and the 2-time champion, looking to be a 3-time champion, is looking for retribution for not making it a 3-peat. The reigning champion 2nd, Hunt the rookie in 3rd. Then you got Hartley, Holmes, Worth there at the back of that. But look at how the train has just completely decimated from what was originally there. Schwenke was involved in that incident, and he was off at Rivage heading down through, but the incident was much more before that one. So
yeah, sure was.
Yeah, it was at Malmedy, Schwenke into Lundberg, and both of them getting very lucky.
Lundberg was on the outside and was not going to back off. He was going to hold that outside line. The two got together. Then Schwenke fought the car for an eternity until he finally gathered it back up and lost a ton of positions.
Well, he can just keep swimming all he likes there. He was starting to drown a little bit, so he'll get away with that one just about, but he's got to try and work out where he is once again. Maybe he decides to make the pit stop early after that incident, maybe buff out as much damage as he can in that situation. We are about to hit the window, but that second group now has completely decimated. Look at it though for P2, 3, 4. Hunt now trying to find a way past Nom, and he looks for it. A good run out of the exit of Blanchimont. Does he have enough? Yes, he does. Side by side, too wide, too deep.
These guys are having way too much fun back here as the gap now to Ketchen stretches to 3.5 seconds. They've got to get it together, these 5 guys, as Sonny beginning to run away with him.
It's not all for granted, though. Sonny Kanchin could have a mistake, could blow an engine, could do something that puts his race out of play. And on lap 7, for those of you who were looking for that casino bet that was going to play, 7 drivers that we were looking for are down 1 lap. Well, by my counts, I see 7, including the ones that not start. I don't know how that plays into play here, Sue.
Yeah, they got to take the grid to count. I think the unders are going to win that bet in the Hans Millewa Casino and Social Club. Check into it. Have some fun.
Well, it certainly seems that you get yourself a good bet, but make sure that you gamble responsibly if you are betting with something else. And you look at all these drivers in and around that top 10.
Let's go to Uris Jelenko, a veteran. Just lost it as I'm speaking. Coming out of La Source. There we see Euros. Welcome back to the series. A longtime veteran, has many races under his belt. The car just got loose in a strange place here. Oh, 3 wide.
Well, he already had damage there, but he was getting himself over the curb. And in fact, he didn't gather it up at all there, Soup. He was already losing the back end. He was turning the vehicle to the left to try and save it. But of course, not having it under control, it just exacerbated a massive tank slapper.
Even with all that runoff area, was still nosed it into the walls. None of the top drivers yet to pit. The window has opened up, I would think, from here, with 10 laps to go of this 16-lap race.
Yeah, you would certainly think that drivers would be thinking about coming down onto pit road, but it's about where you want to be and who you want to be working with. And at the front of the field, Nom, Hunt, they don't want to be working with each other right now. Daniel Hunt up into second position, Nom into third. Then you got Hartley, Worth and Holmes, who are all very happy just to sit and wait and just save their fuel, maybe go longer on the strategy. If you can save even a gallon of fuel around this circuit here today, Soup, you're going to save yourself maybe 2, 3, if not 5 seconds down on pit road.
That might be what they're thinking. Maybe that's the way that they catch Sonny. Sonny's out there all by himself, burning the fuel. He has no help. How about we drop back to 7th position? Haven't talked much about this driver. Tim Cleason's having a nice run in there with the Slovene between Patrick's list. A nice little battle for 7th. More of just a nice Saturday drive right now, as I think both of those drivers realize they're not going to go anywhere. So they're just out there putting in some miles.
Yeah, they're certainly putting in the miles, working together, making sure they get themselves through. In the next group, you got the likes here of this battle happening. Eric Garcia against Richard Losber, GSRC's very own here, as he'll look to try and go down to the inside. He may think better of it in this situation. He is a wily man, is Richard Losber. He will know when to make a move, when not to make a move. Decides to make it too wide as they head to Blanchimont. And can he hold it down the inside? You bet he can. Richard Losber can get himself +1 position overall, as he now makes position number 15 his own at the moment. Do we have any takers down onto pit road? The answer for that one is going to be no, out of your leading group. So still, they're looking to go forward. And I wonder whether they're all trying to get themselves towards the end of this event right now here, Soup, as long as they can on the fuel to get as little time as possible when it comes down to going onto the lane.
First driver to bite the apple is Tom Ratchey has decided to come in. He was racing back in about 22nd position.
Yeah, and Fides there also starting to struggle then in this event. So Fides now having to be very careful in the 890 machine. Happened out of the chicane, and that's a self-spin. There was no contact. He was too eager to get onto the power there, Soup. So Fides then with another very eventful moment for him.
Right in front of Gianni Quintelier, yeah, but putting the power down out of the bus stop. So Fides, after serving that stop and go, has to serve that stop and spin.
Yes, he certainly does, but look at the difference in lap times right now between Kanchin and the rest of the field. 2:47.4 was the last time that Kanchin did. You talk about Robert Hartley, who's now moved up into second position. He did a 2:48.2. That difference there, 0.8 of a second. And granted, while you can say that Daniel Hunt was only 0.4 of a second slower, at the same time, he had to get past Iru Nom, who did himself a 2:49.9 on that last lap, and he's dropping further back through the field. Richard Worthy is now behind. This train is not working together, and Kanchin is being given a free pass.
In theory, Sonny should not be able to not only stay equal, but actually distance himself from the pack. Yeah, Sonny Kanchin having a great race right now. Well out in front now, 5 seconds.
Now 5 seconds, so 5 seconds that he can use to his advantage. Maybe he can overrun his stall, take a few more liberties. Maybe he can just turn down the wick a little bit here on lap 8 of 16. Half distance will be score complete when Kanchin crosses the start-finish line. But still, though, it's about who makes the move and when they make the move here. You still got battles going on, like Scott Brazier here versus Steve Heffernan. In front of them, you got Noel Lundberg looking to go through, and of course with Koeman as the top AM driver as well in that scrap as well. He's looking to try and keep himself with a clean nose, and with no one back to Weilinga, who is right at the back of that group, he has to feel pretty safe with where he is right now.
Yeah, the way the scoring works, you just get the points for where you finish. There's not individual scoring for both pro and amateur, so he'll get 13th place points. But like Jake just said, the next driver that he's racing in that AM class is Weilinga, who is well back there in 17th at 6 spots back. Keep an eye there on Coleman. Now, this is exciting. He's got some drive. This is Brazier off, going a little bit wide, and Hetford up there, a couple rookies ahead of him.
3 come down onto the lane. 1 is Tim Claysons, 1 is Brian Holmes, 1 is Robert Hartley. So the leaders are deciding now is the time that we need to make the stop. Decide that they need a dancing partner to work with. Get yourself out there, have someone to use the draft off of, and then make your progress straight through the field. So now into the box goes Hartley. He'll be looking for fuel, probably not tyres in this situation because of the fact that the tyres certainly don't, and Hartley does look good for tyres there.
That was one of the questions that I tried to press the drivers on, and they kept their cards close to the vest. You can take 2 tires without it costing you too much time while you take fuel. 4 is certainly not going to happen, but you can take 2, and everyone said if you're going to take 2, you're going to take left side. So that's the difference. You might have to pay by maybe a second, but if you take it right about here in the middle of the race, you probably make that time up as Hartley is first out.
Hartley is first out, Holmes behind, and there with Jonathan Butel in the 86 machine, one of the veterans of iRacing, shall we say. You always hear his name crop up somewhere, and now Butel will be looking to work with Holmes, and that will be affecting Holmes because he will now be stuck with Jonathan Butel, who is, without a shadow of a doubt, slower driver. 3 wide, they were looking in front with Soa there with Jali and Quintelier right now for 3 very difficult names to pronounce, and in towards Lake Coombe they go. Quintelier has the advantage. Jali, though, won't have the ability to shut the door down, but in towards Malmedy, he has the ability now.
The bogey time from our leader back to Hartley, which is the first car to pit, is 40 seconds. Boy, even if Ketchum were to have a horrible pit stop, I think he could be able to get in and out and still maintain that lead. Hartley, the leader of all the cars who have pitted, of course, he's back there racing with Holmes, and then as Jake just said, Butel, who's not on the same strategy.
Yes, it is. So Jonathan Butel still yet to come down on towards pit road. Sonny Kanchin, though, with that advantage that we just previously said, now just needs to focus on running his own race. Richard Worth, though, net second at the moment. Hunt just behind. And now Daniel Hunt looking to try and distance himself from Iru Nom, the rolling Estonian, just behind. So now for Daniel Hunt, it's about making this move now and hoping that Nom does not close up. And as such, he will now move to the inside through Curve of Paul Frere. Now looking towards the corner of Blanchemont. He'll get it done before they even make the corner. Richard Worth is now knowing what he's worth, and he will sit and he will wait and look for a better opportunity. Does Sonny Kanchin decide to come down onto pit road? No, he doesn't. Does anyone else in the leading group decide that they want to make a dive down onto the lane? The answer is 1 thinking about it, 2 thinking about it. Hunt and also Worth making their way onto the lane.
As they come in, I report that we still have 39 cars on the lead lap. Some of the big drivers who are out of it, or at least a lap down, they qualified 10th, 11th, and 12th. How about Marcelo Pajan, Travis Swenke, and Selian Chepelevsky?
Yeah, so 3 big names going in the early stages, and when you can say any one of 12 drivers can make their fortune and get victories. That's going to be very interesting between now and the end of the season. Dennis Gerritsen also dives down onto the lane as we look at other drivers here looking to go through. Worth still there on the lane, waiting with Dan Hunt, waiting to try and make that great escape. The answer, though, for them is where are they in comparison to Robert Hartley? Hartley has already rounded the last source corner, so in terms of that one, they have been well and truly jumped.
Yeah, Hartley well out as he's Holmes also getting out there. Hartley, Holmes, and Hunt.
Yeah, Holmes and Hunt then are looking to, well, Holmes and Hartley, shall we say, certainly breaking away. Hunt and Worth now have a lot of work to do to close back up that gap. So with that in play, Robert Hartley, Brian Holmes, they all need to work on getting themselves back in. Now, what will Irunom be thinking on the back of that train, seeing that their rivals have both lost out? Overall, for Irunom, he's got to be thinking, if I'm going a lap further, I'm going to be losing even more time to comparison to those two.
Now, this is interesting. Hartley has knocked off about a half second on Sonny Kanchan. Remember, I think Hartley, we decided, took tires. Am I correct on that? So maybe he's faster with those tires.
No, well, look at Irunom. Normally, in absolute beginners, you him as one of the drivers who pits early here. He's going to try a change of tact and try and pit as late as he can. And for Kanchan, you'd think in this situation right now, Soup, he will only pit when everyone else comes into pit because he wants to go for the Grand Slam. He wants to try and get the fastest lap. He does want to try and get himself that race victory. He wants to make sure that he's covered everybody off before he makes that stop.
And there's no reason for him to come in. He's got clear track in front of him. He doesn't want to come in and get stuck back there in some back markers who are going to do a late stop. So he's out there right now. As we look at this battle for 8th position there between Gianna Quintier, he's going to make that pass on Ludwig Sauer.
Yes, he certainly is. And behind them is Hartley and Holmes, so they've got to be careful. And look at the rate of knots that Hartley and Holmes are closing up on these two. Sauer then to the outside at the corner of Stavelot. That's not going to work for them here at this circuit. And look at that. Robert Hartley now onto the rear, has a drafting partner to work all the way down the straight. And Sonny Kanchan, race leader, in non-follows.
He had knocked off about 0.7 of a second. It was down to just over 39 seconds right now. So let's see what Sonny can do. Of course, there's a random factor here in iRacing, and it's really more random in these less expensive MX-5s. It seems to be it can vary sometimes 3, 4, 5 seconds. So let's see if Sonny comes in. Is he going to take tires? I don't think so. Not this late. If he was going to take tires, he probably would have taken that stop earlier. We're looking now at the guys who he's trying to beat out as they work their way through the bus stop. They still have to go around La Source. Let's see if Kanchan is rolling yet. No, he's still in his box. Now Kanchan is rolling.
Now Kanchan's rolling, now Kanchan breaks away, and now Kanchan has the lead outright, and nobody, and I mean nobody, is close enough to make that happen. And Hartley was very much stuck, even had a bit of contact actually with the driver of Quintelier heading out of Blanchimont corner. So Hartley really trying to ride on the gears, but look at that, Sonny Kanchan out and away, and there's not much that Brian Holmes can do in this situation. He's almost being dropped at this stage.
And a guy notorious for horrible stops, Errol Num, the Roland Estonian, was crushed. Now back in 4th position. He's almost 3 seconds behind Holmes in 3rd.
Yes, but more crucially, he is in front of the likes of Patrick Flea, who is with Richard Worth right now, and Hunt's lost out over the course of that last lap and now loses a position to Tim Clayson's as well. So everyone starting to work out that this is crunch time here. 5 laps to go when they cross the line, and that may be 15 minutes worth of action, but still, that is going to be something that you need to look at, and Hunt is not done with Clayson's here in the battle that's going on, because they will be side by side into the Lacoon complex. On the brakes, they will look to go as late as they possibly dare. Hunt holding it around the outside of Clayson, still has himself an opportunity for the inside. Not at Malmedy, surely he can go around the outside, but he'll look for the cutback.
All the drivers have pitted. The last one of the drivers yet to come is Boutel. Still needs to make that stop. As we look there at that battle with Hunt.
Yeah, still looking at that battle with Hunt, and Hunt still looking for a way through, and that's going to allow Lauritsen back into play. Alexander Lauritsen now looking at this group thinking, oh hello, I really do have an opportunity now to make something happen in the late stages of this event into the double left of Pouon. And you're always looking to try and hold your speed, 150 kilometers an hour. In miles an hour, you're looking at there or thereabouts, about 130 looking at, and to the outside tries the driver of Daniel Hunt to make this move into the Fania chicane. He holds it around the outside for the first part, won't get the opportunity down the inside at the second.
Great battle there between a couple of rookies. Looking at our top AM driver, if I look at, we can stay on this battle. I just want to report it. Looks like it's Sawyer. Ludwig Sauer is running in 9th position. Is that right? Am I seeing him in 9th?
He did pit this lap, so it would be Eric Koeman.
There we go. That's what's up.
Yeah, it is. And Koeman in a battle with Brazier here for some very important points right now. Scott Brazier, normally we see him in Talk Freak Racing colours? No, that's certainly not right. Bushfink Racing colours is the one that I am thinking of. And Scott Brazier looking at Koeman. Opportunity knocks then as they head towards the corner of Blanchemont. And then the run to that chicane, the bus stop chicane. He looks for the outside. That's not going to work. There's contact between the pair of them. And Koeman straight off.
Oh!
Heavy contact for Eric Koeman. And, well, if you wreck it, it's yours that you have to work with. And that is now going to allow the driver of Quintelier to now take the AM lead here, Sue.
All right, Jake, you're in for a treat. I know this is your first MX-5 World Tour, but it's time for the EagleNet. Well, wait a minute. Do I hear contact out there before we go to that one? It looks like maybe a blown engine. Is that what I heard from Steve Hetford? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's as easy as that, shifting down too quickly into last source, and Hefford, who had a lot of pressure behind him, bang goes the engine, and out he goes.
Was having a great run, was racing, I think, up in inside the top 10, just in front of Dries Nice, so just like that. And remember, there are no drop races. That's going to count.
Oh, it certainly is in this situation. But look at this. Let's go 3 wide down the straight. Hunt on the inside. Larritzen through the middle. And it's going to be the driver of Claessens who waits to the outside, trying to use Larritzen as a little bit of help going on. 3 wide into Lekum. Let's go.
Touch.
And they do make a little bit of contact, but not enough to substantially move anything. Larritzen is clear, but Claessens still in the battle here going on with the driver of Daniel Hunt.
We'll stay on this one. We won't do our business yet. Let's see how this plays out with Hunt on the inside right now. Claessen on the outside. Looks like Hunt's going to get that spot, move him up to 8th. They fall back in behind Larson, who's in 7th. A nice run from Alexander up in 7th spot.
I talk about Patrick Fliss as well. Started 16th, now up to 6th, plus 10 for the day overall. And Hefford was plus 20 at one stage, but that now is going to be given to the likes of Tom Rathje in this event, and he himself up 12 positions overall. Alexander Lauritsen now flying into 7th. That puts him a glorious plus 16.
Okay, we're going to try to do some business. It's time for the Eagles Tavern back marker review. We'll start in 37th position, the last car on the lead lap. It is rookie Atsushi Maeda racing in 37th. He is a few seconds behind. It looks like it's going to be Wayne Fielder is who we're going to go next, racing in 33rd position, if that's what I have. Then we go up to the next spot from there, ahead of Wayne Fielder. It's going to be, where are we going, Director? I'll follow you. Oh, Rizzo racing in 32nd position, as he is about 7 seconds behind Trip Smith. There's a veteran. Smith in 31st. Just outside the top 29, if that's such a thing, is Derek Dutch Holland. He's in a nice little battle. Let's stay on this for a minute as he fights with Max Wright. This is a battle for 29th position. Can't stay on it too long because we got a lot to get through. Let's go ahead and jump up to the next driver in 28th. It is Lee Deemer. And he's about a second behind Michael Wright. Hey, let's look at Michael Wright. I believe he's racing in the Eagle Nest Tavern car. There it is in the Sky Machine. Another car there. And we'll do one more driver in front of Wright. We have to go all the way up. Who's next, Director? And we'll call it there. There it is. Zachary Rubin racing at 26. There you have Eagle Nest Tavern, your 67 back mark review. Back to you, Jake.
Yeah, thank you very much for that, Soup. Lead at the front now, 8.3 seconds between Sonny Canchin and Robert Hartley. It looks like the race victory is all but done, but the battle for second heating up as Hartley now has Holmes behind him, thinking about making the move. And this is where you start deciding, I don't want to make the move. There's the bump draft coming into play from Brian Holmes, pushing him forward. He doesn't want to make the move until the final lap, and he's got 3 laps when he crosses the line to make that said move.
Yeah, Holmes knows even if he does get in front, there's nowhere that he's going to go. Hartley's going to be able to stay with him. And, of course, you don't know what Holmes took, if he took enough fuel. It looks like Fliss is overtaken. Where Dennis Garrison has had an issue. Is that fairly recent? Let me see.
It looks like it would be, and that means that he will drop down a multitude of positions if he's just managed to come out of pit road once again. And it was down at that final chicane. It was contact. It was contact with Noel Lundberg, who went deep into that chicane, and well, contact there and a puff of smoke from a very angry Garrison.
And that's the spot where Jake was talking about where you're going to see the last lap pass. I think it's going to come down, if we're looking between Hartley and Holmes, I think it's going to come right down to the bus stop. And then you have the decision, do you want the right side, do you want the left side? Do you want to have the wide angle out? The start-finish line is really close after the bus stop. It's not where they start. The finish line's a lot earlier, so you have to hustle out of the bus stop, and we looked at that incident.
Yeah, you certainly do, and with only a few laps to go, they're starting to eye up their moves, try and work out where it is that I am best placed to try and make a result happen here. Still got those battles going on, the likes of Garcia versus Losper versus Brazier going on. This is from about P13 backwards. Who wants to be the unluckiest man of the last season? Who wants to start the new season 14 with the number 14 number finish? That's going to be something just to keep a small eye on here in the commentary booth. But right now, that one is all about the drafting game.
They're little two-car tandems all the way as we look there at that Losper fight going on. 2 and 3 car groups that are fighting for position right there. You see Losper in there with Brazier and Garcia behind him. Just ahead of them, if you look at 8th position, you're looking at a battle. This is Lawrenson in this battle, a 3-car battle. Fighting in who's else is that? That's in there is Hunt as well. Now getting in there, here comes Clayson's into the mix as he moves up to 8th. That's going to drop Lawrenson back into 9th.
And just like that, they're changing there. Ooh, a little bit of contact there between the drivers of Clayson's and Hunt. And there again is a little bit of a moment coming off of the exit there. So for Clayson's, he was thinking about making that move. Maybe had the ability to send one down the inside deep, but there was no real opportunities to make anything happen there at that section of the circuit. But again, the battle for P2, 3 laps to go. Will we see more bump drafting from Brian J. Holmes? He catches up very quick out of Radion, and again, straight up onto the bumper. He does not want to make that move.
No, absolutely not. It could be a matter of he's short-filled and he wants to make sure he has enough fuel, or I really think it's just a case of, I'm happy where I am, I'm just feeling you out, I'll make the pass into the bus stop. What we'll do when we get to the end of the race, we'll call the winner, and then we'll try to call all these battles as they cross the start-finish line and the drag race from the bus stop to the finish line. We'll see how it plays out as we ride on board with Brian Holmes.
Yes, we do, and Brian Holmes there out of Malmedy, looking at the right-hander of Rivage, downhill right-hander, always looking to try and get a little bit more in that vehicle, but if you push too hard, you're going to run wide coming out to the exit, and both of them looking very, very good. Patrick Fliss through again on Richard Worth, but Worth is making that moves when they matter the most, and Lauritsen from the back of the train at the end of the lap, now back to the front of the train here, Soup in the battle 7th, 8th and 9th. Lauritsen is looking at a really tidy result.
A battle between 3 pro drivers there. Yeah, welcome to the MX-5 World Tour. Alexander Lauritsen having a great run.
Yeah, he certainly is right now as they look to go through the corner of Puon. The double left-hander, lots of runoff there on the exit. Has changed in recent times. No longer is it a case where you had gravel pretty much around all of this circuit. It's a bit Herman Tilke in design here, Soup. That means that there is a lot of second chances you can have here.
Remember, if you look at that, Worth qualified. Oh, we're looking there as Hunt. We've left the Worth battle there. But Worth qualified in 3rd position. Remember, he is back in 6th. He was up in front as he's in that battle right now with Fliss.
Yeah, he certainly is, and in front of them is Billy Bob Wright, the amateur driver, so they will have to negotiate the lap traffic. Will he behave? The answer is yes. They let him through very, very nicely. Now Richard Worth, with 2 laps to go, needs to think, do I make a move now and risk Patrick Fliss just staying behind me then from now to the end of the event? That's what he's got to think about. Good run here out of Blanchimont, and well, heading towards the bus stop chicane for what will be the 3rd to last time. He'll stay behind this time, so he doesn't want to make this move. He's now playing the role of the one in waiting, but look how much he gets over the sausage curb, and it costs him about 0.3 of a second.
Let's go to the AM now. You saw that Holmes was labeled with an A for the amateur. That's misleading. If we go to the AM Championship Lead, I believe it's all the way down to Ginia Kentier down there in 18th position. Now he's in this battle with Sauer. Sauer is in this pair of amateurs racing back here. Also in the mix is Willemsen, yeah.
Yeah, and Gert Willemsen then looking to try and make his name here in this battle for the AM category. This is important because AM categories, when you get to around 5 races, they start reviewing everything. If you're doing too well, you're going up to pro. If you're not doing well enough in pro, you're going back down to AM. It's a very, very difficult bridge that you always have to look to try and cross, and they have help in the form of Gene Fides just in front of them. So Fides looking for a battle just to get some points. He's got 3 amateur drivers behind him.
How about Fides? A stop-and-go penalty and a loop-de-loop, and he's still racing in 17th. Nice job, Gene.
Nice job, Gene. Indeed, he is down 4, though, for his day. Quintelier currently plus 15, looking at plus 16 then as they get themselves within the draft. Not too long to go in this event, and the look is there as he goes to the outside to try and make it happen. And
let's go to Big Crest. Cesario Rizzo happening right now. Let's get these guys. And also got in Max Wright. These guys are racing back in 30th position. It's a pretty big crash, so we'll take a peek at it.
Yeah, let's take a peek. And, well, a big incident there towards the end, and Cesare Rizzo will not be happy. He is a driver who does know when he is getting into play, but certainly that is something that you just need to keep an eye on. Heading their run down towards the chicane, and look at that, 2 into the wall. Very, very difficult, but look at the battle for P2. If we can get back to coverage, they're side by side through Fania.
Now things are starting to heat up a little bit here for the second position.
Oh, it certainly is. The pair of them looking to battle together. And look at Holmes now. Gets the inside at Curve of Paul Frere, and he'll have the run here, Soup, all the way to Blanchimont.
Yeah, they don't mind racing side by side now. Any chance of catching is long gone, so they're just kind of positioning themselves. So they are still side by side. Not sure the reason of this one. I think you want to pick your spot. It looks like, I think Holmes is going to drop back in there. Yep, he's going to drop back in behind.
He certainly is looking for his lines. Maybe decides to go to the outside now in towards the bus stop chicane. Both of them looking to have this battle. Irunom behind them, 6 seconds down the road. That shouldn't be too much of a factor, but side by side, white flag. Let's get that one out in the air. Final lap of the event in play, and Holmes now with the advantage here compared to Hartley. Hartley, though, has the inside line into the Lassos hairpin, and none of them want to be the leader heading up down the kennel, straight up, down. Let's get some words out. Let's try and make something happen. Hartley has the lead as they head themselves down towards the Camel Straight. So now Brian Holmes needs to think, do I need to make this move now, or do I decide to make this move at a different point in time? Don't send it too wide up Eau Rouge, but I think Holmes is starting to think about it. They will take it too wide as they head their way up the section known as Eau Rouge in through Radion. Heavy over the curb is Brian Holmes. Thank goodness that this it's been relaxed over the years, the iRacing service, because that would have been in future times a slow down penalty. Side by side they stay then on the run up towards Lake Cumin for the moment. Brian Holmes will not have much to fight back with on the outside, heading into the complex, late on the brakes as you dare. Into the right goes Hartley. He'll have the advantage now. Outside for the left-hander will always favour back Brian Holmes, but Holmes stuck on the outside, looking now for the cutback through Malmedy. Ravage, the next section of circuit that the pair of them for the final step on the podium will need to worry about. 250s between them, 248.5 for Irunon behind, who could get into the battle if they battle too hard. And down the inside, Brian Holmes makes it happen into the corner now without any name at all. Used to be known as Liège, but that one not going to happen then for Robert Hartley. He's got to sit and he's got to wait. Behind that, though, Flea versus Worth. We expect that one to end on the final chicane and make that happen. Hartley looking for a way through right up to the back bumper as they now head out of Pouon. The run to Fania. They're losing a lot of time now compared to Kanchin, but it won't matter in comparison to Kanchin, who now rounds Stavelo, but still Brian Holmes with the advantage, and if he's not careful, Robert Hartley will now get himself back into play. Stavelo, the right-hander that they need to deal with, Curve Paul Frere straight afterwards that they need to be so wary of putting the power down, and I think that Robert Hartley will now have a better chance of any to make something happen here on the final lap. Look at the draft, 1/10 of a second, and will look to pull it side by side as they head themselves in towards the Blanchimont corner. But Sonny Kanchin now heading himself towards the chicane for the final time. What a shame to cut away so quickly, because Kanchin catch him if you can, Chin. Catch him if you can. But it doesn't matter which way you say it. Sonny Kanchin wins the Asbury Motorsport Spa Classic. But still, the battle for second rages on. Side by side, we're going to take it. And running the outside, holds it to the inside. And look at that from Brian Holmes. Better run off the exit. Careful of the 4 tyres. Thank you very much, Robert Hartley. He steals second away, Sue.
Worth and Fliss coming at it right now. It looks like Fliss on the outside is going to have the momentum as there's a race in there. Worth is going to get the nod. He's going to get 6th ahead of Fliss.
Oh, that was close. That was 18 thousandths of a second between the two of them. Now Clayson's against Hunt, and Hunt has lost out in that final lap. And look at that, Dan Hunt, 7th, down to 9th. Come the end of that one. What a brilliant battle it was between those two, and still Losper versus Garcia, and I hate to see a hint of bias about it, but Richard Losper has stolen one from the Eagles now.
Oh, contact in the back from Sawyer. Sawyer gets together with Quintier. Quintier is going to get the spot. No, actually, I think maybe Fittis might have stolen from those guys.
But
coming out of the bus stop.
But crucially, Quintelier takes the AM victory from that. So they all start to come together, and Ursum's jumped the chicane entirely, so he'll let everybody come back through from now to the end of the event. What a brilliant spectacle. These final few battles are certainly proving out to be in the last of them still coming in. You've still got Nick Thiessen against Mark King going on here right now, Sue.
They were looking there at King as they fight. Let's see where this position is. Not for position, nope. Looking to see if there's another battle out on the track. I don't think so. I think everybody else has sorted this one out now. 31 drivers going to finish on the lead lap. Atsushi Maeda, the last driver on the lead lap in 31st.
Well, that is very, very crucial with a 2-minute 45 lap around this circuit. It gives drivers a lot of opportunity to finish this race on the leading lap. But what a brilliant battle it has been up and down the field. And the MX-5 World Tour has shown that you can do a battle very, very nicely with the last of the drivers looking to make their way home. What we are going to do here on the Global Sim Racing channel is that we are going to take a very short commercial break, but when we come back in just a few minutes, we're going to be here for the Eagles Nest Tavern wrap-up, or as I like to say it, the post-race show, when we will run down the entire finishing order, talk to some drivers, and then we may close up the shop. We'll see you in a few. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Eagle's Nest Tavern wrap-up show. Green Valley Lake is the best-kept secret in Southern California's San Bernardino Mountains. While visiting, stop into the Eagle's Nest Tavern for a hot meal and a cold drink. They're on Facebook. So, with that all said, the Heusinkveld MX-5 World Tour certainly proved to have some brilliant action here today in the Asbury Motorsports Spa Classic. And classic it will certainly be. So with it in the books, it is time to take a look at the final standings from this event. And what an easy day at the office it would be for Sonny Kanchin in the 59 machine. The two-time champ proves himself to be king of the hill once again, and he now wins with a 13-second advantage over Robert Hartley in second. He would be chased home by Brian Holmes in third position, but the reigning champion Iru Nom would only manage to get onto the back in the late stages. Fourth only it would be. And the whole group would be changed with Richard Worth in position number 5. He proved his worth in the end despite losing 2 positions overall, but he would be 18 thousandths over the hard-charging Patrick Fliss, 16th up to 6th. Tom Rathjer, 22nd up to 7th, plus 15. What a stunning run it was from the 41 with Tim Claysond in 8th, beating out Daniel Hunt. It was Scott Brazier, though, who would round out the top 10.
Richard Losper steps out from behind the microphone, slips in front of the wheel, does a great job of bringing it home in 11th position. He's got to be happy with that. The California Kid in 12th, Eric Garcia. Dries Nice and Dennis Garrison go 13th and 14th. Noah Lundberg in the 15th spot. Then we get to well, no, not yet. Gene Fittis, he had to stop and go, then he had to spin. He's still able to come home 3 spots behind where he started, but nevertheless, I think he's got to be happy with 16th. Then we get to the top amateurs. They come here 4 in a row. It is Gianni Quintilier in 17th position, ahead of Loop the Jupe Vilmanson in 18th, 19th, and 20, Ludwig Sauer and Kip Stevens. Didn't hear much from Kip, but a nice run from him. Up 16 spots for Stevens. Jake?
Yeah, Kip the Hairflick Stevens doing a very good job once again. Uros Zelenko, though, would struggle through this race. To 21st, he would fall. Nicholas Jali there in 22nd with Jerome Ursum, 23rd overall, plus 16 for him also. Then you got the likes of Andy Goodison, Zachary Rubin, Alexander Lauritsen at the end of that event would drop a multitude of positions down to 26th. We were focused on the battling on the final lap, therefore we didn't quite catch that. Michael Wright would finish 27th with Derek Holland 28th, 29th and 30th though would be Lee Diemer and Wayne Fiedler.
And then the only Japanese driver in the race, Atsushi Maeda, is going to come on with 31st. Then we get to all the cars that were at least 1 lap down. Billy Bob Wright, Heaton Bake, Al Heaton, Mark King, Robert Belinga, Max Wright in 36th position. Cesare Rizzo, we saw him have trouble. Trip Smith, he's going to finish in 38th, a veteran of the series. Boss Slob, and rounding out 40th, Nick Thiessen. Jake?
Not a good day then for the gathering of Tweaker boys. Steve Hefford blows his engine up, finishes 41st. We saw the incident that happened with the likes of Eric Koeman and Jonathan Butel. Jug Danker, one of the most lovable guys in the paddock, finishes only 44th after his incident. And then you got the likes of Travis Schwenke, Marcello Pajnan, the likes of Stelian Chepelewski, drivers who should be up at the front, failing to finish the opening race. Then you got old Joe McDonald, Stephen Van Opstal, and finally the final driver in P50 failing to make the start is Scotsman Lorne Murray. But here on GSRC, we do like to bring in an interview or two, and Soup, I'm going to be the gentleman here. I'm going to let you have one. Have Patrick Fliss, for example.
All right, we'll bring in the Slovene machine, Patrick Fliss. He qualified 16th. Not really a great qualifying for him. Brought it home 10 positions up inside the top 10 and 6. Patrick, first of all, let's get to the important part. How you feeling?
Hey guys, I feel pretty good. For racing, I'm pretty much set. I just can't lift stuff yet, but that's it.
Well, it's good to hear. It's a slow recovery, but I'm glad you're getting better. Let's talk about the race. First of all, 16th in qualifying. Is that all you had, or what did you have some trouble, or is that just the depth of the field?
Well, for the most part, I'm pretty slow on this combo, I have to say, but top 10 was in my goal, but I screwed up both last chicanes at the end. But yeah, I wouldn't be much over 10th place on the start.
You were in a nice battle. I think you were battling, was it Richard Worth you were battling with there for a long time during the race? Looked like a pretty peaceful battle that you're in. Not just swapping back and forth, but not a really intense battle.
Yeah, we were swapping back and forth, waiting for a mistake maybe from someone in the front, but it didn't happen. So, but yeah, we had a really nice race to the end.
You know, I was trying to find out the tire strategy, and all the drivers were keeping their cards close to the vest. Did you take tires or not?
I took left sides because I still don't think it takes any time from it. So.
Got it. Hey, well, congratulations on, first of all, great to have you racing with us. 6th place finish, good way to start the season. Let's see if we get another. If you can't win the championship, how about we do every mile again like we did before?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Patrick Fliss, thanks, buddy.
Thank you. See ya.
Well, certainly nice to see there, Patrick Fliss there, Soup. And I believe I've managed to run down the paddock, find the driver of Brian Holmes here. Brian, a fantastic race for you today. Get yourself up into position number 3. How are the early stages for you? Because it was very much pack racing. Keep yourself clean and make sure nothing happens. But 2 or 3 times in the opening stages, a couple of bits of contact here and there thinned the group out.
Yeah, it did. The battling begun, and that's what let Sonny get away, really. Once the battling started on about lap 3, 4. I seem to be having connection issues, so that's why I dropped the back of the pack, saving fuel.
Well, you certainly saved some fuel very, very nicely, because from there, the race victory certainly took a turn for the worse. The incident with Richard Worth certainly separated the pack. For you, though, you came in with Robert Hartley, you came out with Robert Hartley, and from there, the pair of you pushed with the early stop. Did that benefit you in terms of your race result today?
In the draft with Robin, just running around nice clean laps without the battling. That enabled us to pull away from everybody else. Sonny had already gone though. Congrats to Sonny today, he did a great job.
He certainly did, and of course in a couple of weeks' time we're heading over to Donington Park. Of course, home race for you, you could argue. So are you feeling optimistic heading towards Donington?
No, not really. Not one of my favourite tracks.
Oh, what a shame. I like Donington, though. Donington's very, very good. But, Brian, before we let you go, a top 3 finish, any shout-out sponsors, anyone you'd like to thank?
No, just thank the guys in the race, basically. It was a bit crazy at times, but, yeah, it's all good. Cheers for you guys for commentating as well.
Well, it's always going to be a crazy race at times in the MX-5 World Tour, but he came out the other side and looked very well. Brian Holmes there, joining us from position number 3 overall. But, Soup, you know, just trying to find a couple more drivers up and down this field. It was a sensational battle from minute 1 to minute last.
Yeah, if you would have asked me before the race, were we going to have a winner come home 13 seconds ahead of second place, I said, not here at Spa. You know, Sonny is back. He has made a statement. Boys, I'm back. I'm looking for my 3rd championship, and I'm going to do it by just pasting you here in Belgium. So, my goodness, a great way for him to start the season and make his run to try to join Jan Koemans as the only 3-time champion. Congratulations to Sonny.
Yeah, it certainly was. And up and down this field, you had to argue that the AM category also proved to be very interesting as well. Quintelier, Willemsen, Sauer, all there, all battling. And, well, right now, you know, you feel that a lot of drivers were up there and were doing a good job. And, in fact, I believe, Soup, you found one of the AM category drivers yourself.
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk with the series organizer. He's got to be happy about this. Jeroen Ursum, hey, congratulations. First of all, before we talk about your race, how about those drivers? Pretty darn clean on the opening laps, Jeroen.
Yeah, I was so proud by the end of lap 1.
I know you made a point of it, and we watched. I was like 50, or I don't know, 50, 49 or 50 cars going around La Source saying, there's no way. They all made it. In fact, I think we brought all 50 around the whole first lap.
Yeah. And in the first lap, I got a lot of respect of the guys around me, because I'm the series organizer. They let me through at some point, I think.
You know, with such a large field, it's hard for us to get back there. We didn't see much of you. You came home in 23rd. You picked yourself up 16 spots. Got to be pretty happy with that to start your season.
Yeah, finishing in the top half of the field. That's good. I'm surprised, to be honest.
I think the class championship is a great idea. It was fun for us to go back there and watch. In fact, we saw some drivers of Boss Slav was up there for a while. It makes some of those mid-pack incidents a little more dramatic, where we see guys who are fighting for the AM championship instead of all of a sudden, hey, we lost 19th or 20th. No, we lost the AM leader. So congratulations on that idea.
Yeah, thanks. Great turnout also as well. We got 49 drivers in this race. It's the same as the record that we have. So aiming for 50 the next one.
I'm going to put you on the spot off the top of your head. Do you know, have we been to Donington before in the MWT? I don't remember it.
Yeah, we have been, yeah.
Have we? Okay. I will do the research.
Back.
Well, congratulations on a great first event and getting season 14 underway. I think all of our sponsors are going to be happy, and you put on a good show, and maybe come up with a rule for Sonny, because he looks awfully good.
I'll put him in AM.
There you go. Jeroen Ursum, where did he finish here today? What did we say? 16th position for Jeroen?
We said he was plus 16.
Plus 16. Good. 23rd.
I go with 16. That's
there
good.
You go. No. All right. Well, you're in charge of the points. You can make yourself wherever you want. All right. Congratulations. Good job. Nice first round.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Jake.
Well, what a brilliant character Jeroen Ursum is, and that's the sort of quality that we see in this league up and down, and from, say, the battles going on for P number 1, P2, all the way down to the likes of P49 that we saw today.
Yep.
You know, you can't argue for anything better, but unfortunately here at the Global Sim Racing channel, I believe it is about time that we start giving the last call around here. So it's a time that we talk about us, the sponsors here today, and who we have to thank. We have to thank everyone at Quality Sim Racing Sim-dicate for organising this series and contracting with the Global Sim Racing channel to broadcast it most certainly. And also, we have to give a big thanks to Heusinkveld. Affordable simulator software and hardware are thought to be of limited use for race teams and drivers, but their simulation solutions bring professional results within reach for any race team or driver without having to compromise on realism or engineering value. They offer a broad array of products and services such as advanced vehicle simulation software and hardware, and they are also able to simulate any combination of race car and track, including a full-fledged cockpit environment with unparalleled realism. Heusinkveld solutions are currently being used by professional teams and drivers in Formula Ford, GP3, GP2 and Formula 1 most importantly. Now, are available for any professional team or driver looking for an edge in racing, so be a better race car driver and get in touch today. And of course, Soup, I believe that you have the likes of, say, Tidal Influence to thank.
Yeah, I got to thank Tidal Influence and, of course, Nest Tavern. Those guys are on board again one more time, longtime sponsors of the series. How about Asbury Motorsports? They came on to sponsor the Spa Classic, and we give them thanks. Thanks to the companies and equipment and software that you see on the screen right now that we use on the broadcast. The original music you heard today is thanks to Eric Eckelman and Casey Law. See the screen for how to contact them. Let me wrap up here by telling you what's coming up next for the Heusinkveld MX-5 World Tour. We're going to have a little break. We'll return in 3 weeks. That's September 23rd. It's going to be round 2 from Donington. And, of course, GSRC will be there to bring you all the action. We hope you tune in. We'd like to, if you'd like to find out more about GSRC, your best bet is, of course, GlobalSimRacingChannel.com. And we're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel. Jake?
Well, it shows that my maths is really good there. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, what does that matter? But finally, on behalf of the man to my right-hand side, Bill Soupzan, the man behind the desk, our director, Joe Peak, and the man who some say is a cousin of the Stig, our camera guru, Dougie Beard, I'd like to thank you all for watching. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.